This incident, or blood's picked up a lot of attention online. You know what I'm talking about. You got in a little, shall we say, altercation on a plane.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into all the specifics.
Ja Rule and 50 Cent are back in the same headline, and this time it's allegedly about a tense plane altercation tied to Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda, with the internet spiraling over what disrespect really means when legends cross paths in tight spaces. People are saying the industry machinery never forgets old beef, and when two camps with history end up in the same metal tube in the sky, every stare becomes a statement. Ja Rule was reportedly asked about the situation and didn't duck it. He leaned into maturity, saying disrespect is not tolerated, but there is a way to carry yourself in certain spaces. He added that he's raising kids now, and even with all the disrespect he gets from 50, it won't make him fight in public, because he doesn't want his kids seeing that when they're older. That line alone sent a message. This isn't just rap rivalry anymore. It's about legacy and optics. But what fans noticed next is where things really get interesting, because a blogger jumped in with a long post that flipped the blame and dragged the past straight into the present. The post read like this: "Y'all all saying 50 needs to grow up, but none of y'all been in his shoes. Y'all know Ja Rule friend/associate was responsible for 50's shooting, and Irv Gotti tried his hardest to blackball him. That's messing up his money to feed himself and family, but y'all want only him to grow up. How about when they make songs about 50 getting shot, y'all not telling him to stop? Y'all need to stop commenting on things y'all don't know about." Ja Rule respond, he started every problem he's ever had: play stupid games, win stupid prizes. People are saying that post wasn't just commentary, it was gatekeeping the narrative, reminding everyone that history didn't start yesterday. And when Ja Rule's response popped up inside that same post, it felt like a mic drop wrapped in a shrug. No long speech, just a blunt line about consequences. And the fans are not staying silent. One person pointed out 50 was a jerk before he got shot. Another fan comment said, "Again, I didn't expect niggas to be cognizant. Good luck though, bro." Then a third voice cut through the noise with, "It was only one legend there, and that was Ja." After those comments hit, the vibes shifted from debate to division. Half the timeline started framing Ja as the calm, grown man who refused to perform chaos, while the other half argued that you can't preach peace without acknowledging who lit the match in the first place. That's how this beef keeps breathing. Every new moment gets filtered through old wounds. But the allegation doesn't end there, because look at what happened next. Analysts of the culture started reading between the lines of Ja's plane comment. Saying there is a way you carry yourself in certain spaces isn't just about manners. Fans believe it's code for not letting the industry machinery bait you into viral violence. A plane is a controlled environment. Cameras are everywhere. Witnesses are unavoidable. So choosing calm is allegedly a strategy, not weakness. Ja's kids became the moral anchor of his statement, and that's powerful in a genre where reputation used to be built on reaction. People are saying he's trying to rewrite what winning looks like. Meanwhile, the blogger's post pulled the conversation back to the early 2000s, to shooting rumors and blackballing claims involving Irv Gotti. Whether those claims are fully accurate or just the street's version of events, the emotional truth is what matters online. Fans believe 50's anger is rooted in survival, not ego, and that being targeted financially is a different kind of violence. When the post asked why nobody tells Ja to stop making songs about 50 getting shot, it reframed diss tracks as reopening scars. That's why people are saying both men are trapped in a loop, where each response becomes proof for the other side. But what fans noticed next is where things really get interesting, because Ja's words about public behavior clashed with the blogger's words about private history. One is focused on the future, the other on the past. That tension is the story. It's not just Ja versus 50, it's parenting versus pride, brand versus beef. On a plane, there's no stage and no studio, just human bodies and old grudges. If anything happened at all, it was reportedly small, but symbolically huge. The idea that Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda were involved turned it into a G-Unit orbit story, not just a solo clash. People are saying the presence of crew changes the energy because respect becomes collective. Another layer is how quickly the internet shows sides. The comment calling Ja the only legend there wasn't about chart numbers, it was about comportment. Legend status now includes restraint. At the same time, the comment calling 50 a jerk before the shooting shows how narratives harden. Once a personality label sticks, every action is read through it. The middle comment about not expecting people to be cognizant
felt like a sigh from the crowd, a reminder that nuance doesn't trend as fast as insults. But the allegation doesn't end there, because look at what happened next. Fans started dissecting Ja's phrase, "disrespect is not tolerated." That sounds tough, yet he paired it with, "there is a way that you carry yourself." People believe he's drawing a line between boundaries and brawls. You can address disrespect later, privately, without making a scene that lives forever on someone's phone. In an era where a scuffle becomes content, refusing to provide the clip is a power move. It's also a way of sending a message to 50 without saying his name. I won't be your viral moment. On the flip side, the blogger's argument that 50's money was allegedly messed with reframes disrespect as economic warfare. In that view, calm words don't erase material harm. That's why the post asks why only one side is told to grow up. It's a critique of selective maturity. Fans believe the culture often rewards the louder narrative, not the fair one. When Ja answered with, he started every problem he's ever had, plays stupid games, wins stupid prizes, it sounded like a verdict. No timeline, no receipts, just a final sentence. That's classic rap rhetoric. Compress a decade into one bar. But what fans noticed next is where things really get interesting, because this wasn't just about who was right, it was about who controls the story. The plain setting turned into a metaphor for proximity. You can't mute someone sitting 3 rows away. Old beefs that lived on records now live in real spaces again. People are saying this is what happens when tours, festivals, and shared flights collapse the distance that once kept feuds theoretical. The industry machinery moves artists like chess pieces, and sometimes rival kings land on the same square. There's also a generational subtext. Ja talking about his kids signals a shift from survival to stewardship. Fans believe he's aware that tomorrow's audience will judge him not just by verses, but by videos. 50, known for leaning into controversy, has built a brand on confrontation. When those brands collide, the outcome isn't fists, it's philosophies. One says, I won't fight in public, the other's camp says, you don't know what he's been through. Both can be true, and that's what keeps the argument alive. But the allegation doesn't end there, because look at what happened next. The fan comments became evidence in themselves. It was only one legend there, and that was Ja. That line crowned a winner based on demeanor. 50 was a jerk before he got shot. That line locked in a villain arc. Again, I didn't expect niggas to cognizant. Good luck though, bro. That line exposed fatigue with the whole cycle. Together, they map the audience, judges, prosecutors, and exhausted bystanders. At the center is Ja's refusal to fight on a plane. It sounds simple, but in a culture built on reaction, it's radical. People are saying he chose narrative over noise. The blogger chose history over harmony, and the fans chose sides over silence. That's how beefs evolve, from songs to statements to screenshots. Every quote becomes a character, every comment becomes a chorus. But what fans noticed next is where things really get interesting, because the conversation quietly shifted from who disrespected who to what respect even looks like now. Is respect not mentioning names? Is it not swinging? Is it not blocking money? Or is it confronting things head-on? The plain story forced those questions into the open, and when Ja said he didn't want his kids seeing him fight when they're older, it reframed the whole thing as a family issue, not just a fame issue. That's a heavy pivot in a genre that once glorified public conflict. In the end, this moment isn't about whether punches were thrown, it's about which values get amplified. The industry machinery thrives on rivalries, but maturity threatens that machine. Gatekeeping the past keeps the feud profitable. Letting it go makes it boring, and boring doesn't trend. So the internet keeps spinning it, remixing posts, pulling old quotes, and declaring winners without a referee. So now the question isn't who started it, but who ends it. Is this plain story the proof that growth is possible, or just another chapter in a saga that refuses to land?
Fans believe Ja is sending a message about restraint. Others believe 50's camp is reminding everyone that pain doesn't expire. Both narratives can coexist, and that's why the argument won't die. What do you think about Ja Rule's response and the blogger's post? Was this about maturity or about unfinished business? Like and subscribe and tell me your take.